So my challenge to you
Hello.
this week is to take the lead when you see the need. And in my opinion, this is why and how leaders solve problems. You see, leadership is the ability to produce desirable outcomes out of undesirable situations. And leaders are just simply people who see problems as opportunity to create value with the solutions that they carry inside. But the first and most important thing that leaders must do is to accept responsibility for the problem, even when they didn't create it. And then they must analyze the problem to understand what can be done to solve it and who are the people who have the required skill set to deliver that solution. And this is the reason why leaders don't necessarily waste their time talking about who to blame when they know that it's more important for them to talk about who can solve the problem. And when leaders find in themselves the ability to help, they step up so that others can step in to bring out the best in that solution.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you. This is another edition, which is, of course, the grand finale of the Eagles Leadership Conference USA 2020. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in today. God bless you. So, today we have amazing speakers who are here with me live. Wonderful speakers. As a matter of fact, I know we are waiting to hear from them and to, of course, draw from their wealth of knowledge today to inspire us to, get to the next level of our leadership journey. Ladies and gentlemen, we have before us amazing speakers. We have Mr. Voke Palmer. We have Jordan Carter. We have Mr. Emeka Ossai. We have Sidibe. And of course, my humble self. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be hearing various things from their own expertise. Of course, it's going to be like if you were here yesterday, you would understand that yesterday was a bomb, and today it's going to inspire you a whole lot. I'm sure you're ready to learn and to be inspired. So today I am going to be talking. We're going to be going straight to Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan is an amazing friend of mine. I met him some time ago, and since then he's been an inspiration. If you follow him on Instagram, you know he does a lot of things.
It's an honor
Right?
to be here, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to have you here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jordan Carter. I don't know why I'm calling Carter, but Mr. Jordan Carter is the missions and outreach pastor of Abundant Life Christian Center, based in East Syracuse, New York. He's a passionate speaker that brings the spiritual and practical into every message he gives. Jordan received his BA in internal community development from Oral Roberts University and is currently earning an MA in organizational leadership and consulting from Concordia University, Irvine Online. Jordan Carter is also the co-founder and chief innovation officer of Mesh Teams, a teams and leadership consulting company. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we are ready to learn from him today. I know he has a lot for us today. So, Mr. Jordan Carter, Lord have
Awesome.
mercy.
Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here
You're
and
welcome. You're
and
welcome.
share a little bit about my experience and some tips of leadership with all the people that are watching. So
Mm,
today, I just want to give a quick little snippet on what it
mm.
means to empower your team
Yes.
as leaders or as people that are
So
whatever
you
we're.
have 2 minutes to say that, so I will start asking you questions.
All right, let's go.
Thank you.
All right, so two
Yeah,
minutes. All right, so
exactly.
as you guys know, it's easy to, when you're leading a team or you're trying to get something done, as the
Mm,
old saying goes, if you want it done right, do it yourself. But the problem is that that doesn't leave lasting legacy or results. You can
mm,
only get done with if you're doing something within
mm,
a team, or if you're trying to get something done. If you try to only do it yourself, that means that the longevity of that thing being done or outliving you or growing or scaling is limited to you. Therefore, it is insanely important. It is so important to empower your team to have ownership of whatever vision, task, mission, whatever it is you're trying to lead. It is so important that you empower your people to own their spot so that you can multiply yourself. Any good leader should only work they should work their way to only doing what only they can do, which
Powerful.
means that things that you don't have to do, you should learn to delegate. Now, that doesn't just happen flippantly or easily at the flip of a switch. And when you're starting to lead an organization or a team or a process or a project, that's not the first thing you do off the bat, but you should build towards that end. That if you're a leader, you should only do what only you can do. So empowerment is important. Is that a good
Thank
intro,
you
Stephen?
so much. Thank you. That's really great. Empowerment is important. That's the heart of every leader. I mean, that's the heart of leadership. Empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. So first of all, for the purpose of those who didn't tune in yesterday, my name remains Stephen Ogbolu, and of course I'm a lawyer. I am an author. I'm a leadership consultant, and I'm a personal development expert. So today I am privileged to be hosting the Eagles Leadership Conference all the way from the United States. Of course, this edition is for those in the US. We started it in 2017, and since then it's been, causing a lot of paradigm shifts for young people out there. So today we are privileged to be hosting it at this time in the United States, and I'm humbled to be championing this cause. And I believe that as it's been, impacting a lot of people, it's going to be impacting more people. All right. So, Mr. Jordan, I want to ask you a very important question before I go to the other speakers. Why are you so passionate about leadership? You have a degree in leadership, and not only that, you are the co-founder of Leadership Company. What is your drive in leadership?
Yeah. When a leader gets better,
Hmm,
everybody gets better. Everything
exactly.
rises and falls on leadership, as the old axioms go. Uh, if an organization or a team's ability to thrive begins and ends with its ability, with the ability of its leader to lead it.
Hmm.
If a team is failing, if a project is failing, that means that the
That's right.
leader is not doing something or doing something that is in the wrong direction. So everything within an organization or within a team or project, it gets better or worse based on the ability of that leader. So if a leader gets better, if a leader knows how to work with people, negotiate, compromise, train, develop the people around them, and bring the best out of the people they lead, then the results of the mission of your organization, project, or team will always get better. So I'm passionate about leadership because it produces real results.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got that. That was really powerful. And as a matter of fact, I just want to talk about the fact that it's important as a leader to leave a lasting impact, and that's all that matters. As a leader, you must be very conscious of that you have to leave a lasting impact. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to an amazing personality. It's right here before me. In fact, is a constant face in Africa, and those of you who watch from several continents who are able to see African magic from other continents, then you're privileged to have him here today. I mean, because he's been a blessing in the movie industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about any other person than Mr. Emeka Ossai. Oh my God. Thank you so much for coming here today, sir. You are an amazing personality. Guys, I just want to read out a little about him. A little, in quote, a little about him. Um, because he's done a lot and has achieved a lot. But this is just a little I want to give about you. All right. So, guys, Mr. Emeka Ossai got his Bachelor of Science in Food Technology from the prestigious University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. He is a filmmaker as well as an actor. He has made and featured in several television adverts, jingles, TV programs, documentaries, movies, and music videos. He has over the years helped several organizations in developing contents, of course, ideas, and bringing the content into fruition. Now, he believes that the leadership narrative can be rewritten, right, for the betterment of everyone. This is the political part of him. Just know this now. So Mr. Ossai has occupied several leadership positions and gotten to his credit several awards, including the African Movie Academy Awards, AMA, and the Nollywood Distinguished Veteran Award. And we are so privileged to have you here today, sir. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. So what do you understand about leadership, first of all, in just 2 minutes?
Well, leadership is the ability to envisage and crystallize a vision and the ability to galvanize people with potentials and capacities to achieve that vision. Understanding the intricate differences between the people you are putting together and how to manage them effectively to ensure that you are able to achieve that vision. Carrying them along, making them share that vision, living that vision, and actualizing it with you together. That is basically what leadership is all about. So you may have a vision that you as a leader may not be able to bring to reality as an individual, but with other people acting as constituent parts of yourself, you can achieve that vision with all of them believing in it and happy to achieve with you. That is the basics of what leadership is all about. Ability to be the arrowhead and attract people to you and direct them effectively, to ensure that your vision, your clear vision, is achieved.
The ability to be the arrowhead, that is very, very powerful, because as a leader, most of the things you do is, of course, missions. So that's just what it is. That's what leadership is about. It's mission. You have a mission to help other people's vision to come into reality. And so in order to do that, you must put yourself in a position or position yourself to be the arrowhead to help other people's vision come into reality. And thank you so much. That's so powerful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now I'm going to be introducing you to the other guest I have here. Her name is Voke Palmer. Voke Palmer, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. So now Voke is a personal development coach. Thank you. I can hear you. Thank you. Voke is a personal development coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. She is the co-founder of Business Intelligent Teens Academy, a training platform for young people to learn how to combat poverty by learning the most important money and business values. A motivational series, Today's Truth, which she shares on her social media pages, is changing lives and creating greatness. As a speaker, she has graced various stages and spoken to people from various walks of life on everything related to empowered living. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to crave your indulgence too. I think the technical controller is hearing me right now. I think one of our guests is here, and Mr. Charles Okafor, and he's at the backstage. If you're hearing me, controller, please let him in, and please make sure that everything is in order. I think one of the guests is also having some issues. Controller, if you If you can hear me, please make sure that everything is in order. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to ask you a very important question, Voke. Why are you passionate about helping teenagers business? I mean, teenagers business or financial intelligence. Why are you so passionate about that? Helping them to have, business or financial intelligence. Please tell us your journey. Let us know the reason behind all of these.
Well, I look around and I see people replicating patterns, replicating systems that basically will end in poverty. Poverty, like they always say, is generational. Meaning the patterns towards poverty are generational. The patterns, the lifestyle, the choices, decisions lead to poverty are generational. They are being played time and again. So if we can show teenagers and having early on, show them an option that you don't have to end up the way your fathers have ended up. You don't have to end up the way your environment looks like. You can actually do better for yourself. There are choices out of what you know already. You make them understand that till you're gonna die, you're gonna be paying bills, okay? And if you make different choices right now, if you don't learn how to make the right kind of choices, connecting choices related to your finance, if you're making those choices early on, if you're not teaching yourself how to make the right decisions now that you're young, when you're older, you're needing so much more to save yourself from whatever financial pit you're going to find yourself in. So I believe everything moves when money moves. There's so much that not do when there's no money. Okay, so for people to live beyond, for people to express their pulse, for people to do a lot, money is going to be involved. And to me, I feel that's basic, fundamental thing you should have as a person. Yet we see so many people struggling with that, and so they cannot live at their best. We talk about leadership, we talk about purpose, we talk about destiny, we talk about all the amazing things. But they are being held when there is enough to make happen. There's no need to. So I started Beating Academy to show these teenagers that, hey, you're playing right now, but life is going to get serious. And you have to start making the right decisions regarding your money now that you're young. I think we don't do enough of that as schools today. Even to university level, at least in the Nigerian educational system, we don't open mind people enough to the reality that, hey, there's something called debt. There is something called poverty. You know, when you are still being by parents, you don't see the reality of it until it comes to it. So I feel as teenagers, they should understand the basic principles of how money works, earning, saving, investing. As simple as that is, we have to inculcate these teachings in our teenagers to give them a better shot for a better life.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Fati. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so you're helping them to take life seriously, helping them so that they will have financial intelligence or some business intelligence in order not to fall prey of any sort or of any kind.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was really inspiring. Thank you so much. Mr. Jordan,
Hey.
you love adventure.
Yes, sir.
Right? You love adventure and you love traveling. That's one thing that can be hidden from your page on Instagram. I've seen you in several places. And in fact, I see you love fishing, right? All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
sometimes it can be tough and, in fact, draining for a leader who has a lot of responsibilities, right? How can such a leader balance his work, leisure, and, of course, create time for his family? Because it looks like you have a lot of time for everything, for your adventure, for your fishing, travels, and all of that, right?
Yes,
Tell us
sir.
how you do it.
Yes, well, it's all a
Leaders can be very busy,
negotiation.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very much so. I mean, I think balance in life is a bit of a fool's errand altogether. There's seasons of life where you're more in balance in one area than another, and it's a negotiation. There's seasons and times for different things in your life. So right now, in order to do my graduate studies, I had to put some other things to the side. For example, I love to fish. That helps me, it soothes my mind, it helps reset me. But this summer, I've only gone 2 times. So what you see on Instagram is the highlights of my life, but it's not necessarily the day-to-day things that I do all the time. So, so in this season of my life, I've had to put some things away so that I could do other things better. And so I think that's just kind of how life happens. Based on the season of life you're in, like I have a 19-month-old child who is running up and down and all over the place. I prioritize that above everything else. So I think you have to set what are your values. You set your values up, and then you schedule your values, because what you value, you schedule. And so I value my family. That's my number one responsibility in this life, is to be a good dad and a good husband. So I make sure I schedule that. I protect that time. I set boundaries around the things that I want to create and the things that I'm going to allow. So when you set a boundary, you're creating something, and whatever you allow to cross that boundary or move that boundary, well, the boundary is no longer where you created it. It's now where you've allowed it to be moved to. So it's important that you create boundaries around the things in your life that you value. So I value my family. I value the outdoors, going fishing and hiking. So I make sure to schedule times along with my relationship with my wife to help me with these things. I schedule times ahead of time where I can go and have those outlets so I can reset myself. This week, starting tomorrow, I'm on vacation for 7 days to reset. I'm completely going to unplug. I'm going to the mountains, and we're going without my baby. My parents are going to watch him, which is such a blessing. So it's all about give and take. It's about where you're going to orient your life in a certain season. You can't be all things to all people at all times. There's seasons of life, and in each season, prioritize your values and then schedule what those values are in a real calendar.
That sounds interesting. It sounds really interesting. And I'm learning from you, and I'm sure that everyone is learning right now around the world. I mean, it's very important. Sometimes you can be really busy that you don't even have time for your family because you need the money, because the woman is obviously going to ask for the money. I'm not married. Am I in the position to even say that? Mr. Emeka Ossai will know better, you know? I mean, because you guys have been in the business for a long time, and, you know, I have no idea what it looks like because, anyways, I hope the single ladies out there are not trying to laugh at me.
Listen, it's different seasons and different times, man. Right now you're single, so your priorities are different than when you get married, and then your priorities change again when you have a kid. Everyone's life has a certain capacity, and as you fill that the capacity of your cup, other things have to move or leave. In other words, you want to be a river, not a flood. A flood is water uncontained and everywhere. You want to be a river moving in a direction, but you still have a full river, but it has banks. And what are banks? They're boundaries. So you have to decide what's going to be within those boundaries in your life. What are your values in this season? And it will change from season to season. And schedule your time, because where you schedule your time, you're prioritizing your life.
That's great. Thank you so much. Priority is very important. It's key. It's key. And I'm so sorry, guys. One of the speakers is here, Aboubacar Sidibe, and we've been waiting for him. And of course, I don't know if the controller can hear me right now, because we are still expecting Mr. Charles Okafor, and I would like him to come in. He's at the backstage right now. Please, if there is a way you can let him in, please let him in. Thank you so much, controller. So, Mr. Aboubacar Sidibe is an amazing young man, and he's a friend, as a matter of fact. And he's a Senegalese. I'm wondering how he learned how to speak English, because I know they speak French there. You know, so he's really gifted in that area. And of course, he's a Pan-Africanist. He's a social entrepreneur who, from the start, has always believed that he is capable of telling a new Africa to the next generation. He is, of course, he has been involved in student government, and in fact, while he journeyed through the path of impact as a young person, impacting other young people, he was selected by the United States Department of United States Department of is it States? So can you remind us again?
Yes, the U.S. Department of States.
Oh, United States Department of State. Okay, I got it. So to study in the U.S. Summer Institute program and get certified in skills necessary for solving social problems. Right. In 2018, Sidibe attended the All Pan Africans Conference in Accra, Ghana, and became one of the youngest leaders of the Pan African Young Federalist Movement. One of the youngest leaders. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And we are so happy to have you here, sir. Thank you. I'm sure many of your friends are watching right now to be inspired by you because you've done a lot in Senegal, and I'm sure that they are really proud of you. Thank you. So I have a question for you, right? You've traveled to several continents of the world for leadership meetings. Is there something you discovered in the leadership of the developed countries that should be applied to the leadership of the developing countries like Senegal, Nigeria, and several other countries, right? That can make things work for the good of all.
Okay, my brother. Thank you for the question. So first of all, I give a salute to everyone all over the world, wherever you are. And my name is Aboubacar Sidibe. I'm from Senegal. I'm just 25 years old, and I'm a student leader, and I advocate for the Sustainable Development Goals #4, which is quality Sustainable Development Goal #8, which is a good job and decent work. So, about the question, I would say, throughout the years, I have, and throughout those conferences I took part of, and the exchanges, I learned a lot, and also to learn, to try to make the difference. You see the difference, and there is a big difference, in those developing and those countries developing in Africa. And the solution I always think about is, a better connection with the government, youth activists, the youth people, in those countries in Africa that are doing a lot, that are change makers in their community, that are doing a lot for the population of the. But definitely, they are not in contact. Some of them are not in contact with the government. Some of them are still doing their activities. They're doing great, but the government still don't know who they are and what they're doing, which area they're impacting the people. So in Africa, we should have this link, this partnership, with the government and also the young leaders from those countries in Africa. Because if you see in like the developing country, there is a strong connection. There is a strong connection with the government and also those leaders who are doing great. And also there's organization who's facilitating their organization for, for those leaders. In Africa, we also should have more, organizations, who are supporting those young leaders in order to do more, to do great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So it's important to know that connection is very key. Connection is key, and thank you so much for that. And I believe that every other person was also inspired. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was really inspiring. Mr. Emeka Ossai, I'm also, I'm always happy, getting to you, and because I know you've had a lot of experiences that everyone else here can learn from. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me, what have you experienced so far in the movie industry that has been so challenging to you? What has been your greatest challenge? Because the movie industry is so wide, right? Please tell us your challenge, sir.
Well, one of, I would say, the contemporary challenges we have now is being able to integrate the African market as a singular market. You know, this thing we always talk about, it is easier for you in business relating with foreign countries outside Africa than countries within Africa. You know, that's where I'm happy hearing from someone like Sidibe, who is a Pan-Africanist and a young man who is in a position to take, you know, Africa and Africans to the next level.
That's right.
Getting collaborations between African countries is very difficult. Like you want to make a film in Nigeria, and you want collaboration from Senegal, from Kenya, from anywhere in Africa. It is almost impossible because the basics of cultural treaties and cultural agreements hardly exists between most African countries.
That's right.
So sometimes it is much more difficult and expensive to shoot in Senegal, for example, than to shoot in the UK. And if you think about it, it's crazy. Okay? And I make a film in Nigeria and I intend to distribute across Africa. It is easier for me to syndicate my film across the Caribbean than syndicating across Africa. So there are no business models or business organizations that can syndicate your films across all the African countries in cinemas, or even if it's video on demand platforms, it's so difficult, or individual DVDs to sell in different countries, it's often very difficult. So from conceptualizing the idea and collaborating with professionals across Africa to actually executing the idea, which is running the productions across Africa, and then to exploiting the idea after it is done by distribution across Africa is the biggest challenge. But in the individual countries, film practitioners are trying their best possible to overcome the internal challenges they have of good story ideas, affordable technology to ensure that those ideas come to fruition, and all that. But Africa is such a big market that any producer who makes a product that goes across Africa, at the first instance, does not even need the rest of the world. You know, just like what we know of America, that when you make a film in America, you can fully exploit whatever film you have made in America and make back your profit before you even begin to think about other jurisdictions. You know, so most of the teething problems that we have with film production in Nigeria and I think in other African countries, we are able to surmount. But that collaboration amongst African countries, from conceptualization of an idea to exploitation of that idea, is a very difficult thing. And it is not in isolation to film business. Every other type of businesses within Africa is often very difficult to achieve because those lines that were drawn ages back to separate one country from the other, those lines are still there as very thick walls, very high walls that we have not been able to break down completely. That is the major challenge that we have today in Africa. With the potential that we have of a film market across Africa, you'll be very surprised to note what a supposedly successful film, maybe from Senegal, from Nigeria, from Ghana, or any of those countries, or even Kenya, will do. It probably will just do a little bit when it has the potential of doing much more than it can ever do anywhere in the world. So breaking down those walls, forging those agreements, forging those treaties are very intricate parts of this business that we are finding as a stumbling block. And we are beginning to sensitize our different governments to find a way of coming together, probably under the auspices of the African Union, their cultural department, to ensure that these things are done as soon as possible, so that we can see an explosion of what we're doing within the space. Because don't forget, in film, it is actually the monies made back that helps you to improve your production and move to the next stage of an idea of a project that you should be doing. So development in film comes from money realized, from resources realized, from exploitation of what you have done already. And if the markets continues to be strangulated, then there's a problem. There will be a very, a great problem with expansion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much for that. That was really inspiring. Voke, I want to go to you. Can you hear me, Voke? Hello, Voke, can you hear me? Wow. All right, let us is Sidibe hearing me? Can you hear me, Sidibe? Hello? Sidibe, can you hear me? Can you hear me very well?
I would actually like to hear Sidibe's view on what I've just said concerning.
I can hear you.
Yeah, Sidibe, you heard him. Sidibe, you heard him, right? What do you have to say about what he just said?
I would like your views as a Pan-Africanist. I would like to hear your views on what I have said about.
It just cut again.
Okay. Ask him a question, Mr. Ossai. Yes.
Yeah, I said as a young Pan-Africanist, I would like to hear what your views are about this age-old problem of converging the African business space to the benefit of all African countries.
Well, I think you can break it down for his understanding. Let him get it clearly, please.
Okay, I said as a Pan-Africanist, a young Pan-Africanist, what, in your opinion, will be your next stage of action to ensure that the age-old problem in Africa of difficulty in doing business between ourselves, can be broken down fast enough for us to have a vibrant Pan-African market for all businesses, including film?
All right. Okay. First of all, it's a great honor and a great pleasure for me to share this stage with you, Mr. Emeka, because when I was discussing with Stephen about, who are going to be the host, he told me Emeka. I didn't even know who you was. So I was asking him who is Emeka, and then he sent me a link, and then through that link, that I get to know who you are and what you're doing. And you are really, an inspiration, for those, young Africans who dream to be actors in the future, who dream to, pursue their dreams in the video industry, in Africa. And this is also something we lack, because we don't even know. In Africa, we have a lot of, but we don't see them, we don't know them, and this is also one of the biggest issues. Because when we just see the TV and when you watch the TV, we just see those idol countries. One of the issue, we just try to have to promote, much more, those important persons from Africa, those people who are doing great in Africa, every field, to promote them, to show the TV everywhere what they're doing and how they're improving. Because I believe this is, what is going to inspire, those young people who are dreaming to become who dream to become, actors, and who dream to film in the video industry in Africa. And also, to answer your questions, how do you correct the areas, because doing business in Africa is difficult. But when we think of Africa, there is so much to do.
Wow.
There is always to start.
I think
There is to achieve. The problem is this confidence that the African people have, because if you see, there is this problem of self-confidence that is, making a barrier for, most of the young entrepreneurs to start up. They have great ideas, they have great solutions, but until now, lack of self-confidence that is just breaking, to start there. And so the thing is, in Africa, I just see Africa as like when you're building a house, you have to make the basement, and then after you crumb with the other things and build the house. So I just Africa, that, a building formation. Everyone has something to do. Everyone can, add something, and for that we need, a teamwork. And if I say teamwork, it's not only, I'm in Senegal, and if we have to, if there are some other people like me in Senegal that have the same
thank you
vision,
so much.
that have the same.
Thank you so much, Aboubacar, for that contribution. If I leave you now, you're going to talk for an hour.
Yes.
All right. Let me go over to our next. Thank you so much. So, what in summary of what you're saying is that there should be some collective responsibility, right? Some collective responsibilities in developing and impacting, the Africa we want to see, right? So I think that's a summary of what you're trying to say. Even as a young person, it's very important to contribute your own quota in impacting every sector, most especially the movie industry. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to have to ask Mr. Jordan some questions, right? You are in United States of America,
You're
sir.
welcome.
And let us get it real. I like this place to boil a little bit. You are in United States of America, and it's very liberal here. How do you cope? How do you cope as a leader? How do you change things that you want to change, and the society or the environment does not give you or allow you to change such a thing? What do you do? Because that can be very challenging to most especially about your beliefs, your values, and
Yeah.
sometimes you want to do some things and you cannot do it but then you as a leader, you've signed up to change some things, and irrespective of what that thing or how hard that thing is, right? So how do you cope? How do you take up the responsibility in changing those difficult things that you want to change but cannot change because of the environment?
No, that's excellent. I think you start out with what is in the realm of your control. What's the realm of my control? I'm not in a position to control what the government does or doesn't do, or who's president or who's not president. I get to vote. That's about it. So outside of that, what is in the realm of my control? What can I do to influence my immediate sphere around me? Who are the people that I'm working with? Who is my neighbor? How can I better myself and my family? And a lot of times, as Gandhi has said and other people, be the change that you want to see. So regardless of how society or government or whoever else may be, the morality that they choose or the rules that they choose, whether they're liberal or conservative or wherever you may lie on the political spectrum, it doesn't really matter if you have your own values and you live them to your best ability. The best way to stand to be about something is to not be known for what you stand against, but to be known for what you stand for, right? So, I believe in having a strong and healthy marriage. So what is my job and my responsibility? Before I go out and preach and tell people how to do their job, my job is to have a strong and healthy marriage at home. My job is to prioritize.
Yes.
I own the sphere that I own, and no one else can own that. I am the sole proprietor of my own life. So are you. Nobody can make me do anything. It is my choice to be the person that I would like to be or not be. And so you have to start from what you can control and work your way out.
Thank you. So what I actually picked from that is that in order to change other people, you must change yourself, right? In order to, you must live it. You must live out what you preach or what you teach. You know,
Absolutely, you
that's
got to
what I
change
picked.
yourself, which only comes through intentional growth. You don't
But
change unless you grow.
my
Yeah.
question is, right, when
Hmm.
things become so difficult and the environment does not allow you to do what you want to do as a leader, right? I'm
Sure.
not even going to be bringing, um, your beliefs now, but as a leader, right, you have a certain set of values, and your
Hmm.
environment doesn't allow you to do it. So, for example, you want to change some things about this person, and you want to lead by example, and then they, because of the is it democracy or the government, right? Because of what they push that every other person has to accept, it's not allowing you to do it. How do you do it?
I
What do
guess
you
it
do? How
depends
do you
on.
break through?
It's kind of a nuanced question because it depends on what they're not allowing you to do or allowing you to do. If it's a question of morality, right? If they're not
Mhm.
allowing you to have some free speech, well then that changes some of the things, right? Because you have to respect your government officials, yet you have to live by somewhat of your own values. So again, it all comes back to some of the decisions that you have to make where you're going to part with maybe the morality or the decisions of your government and where you lie on that and what kind of risk mitigation you would like to take with that. But
Mhm.
here's the thing, man. Like, regardless of what the government does, as far as a leader's concerned, like I'm a pastor, right? So that's like
Mhm.
kind of the elephant in the room here. So, like,
Mhm.
if your government's liberal, a lot of times they're morally against things that the church or Christians would stand for. As a leader, separate from my Christianity or my personal beliefs, I believe that most things you can lead well and organizations you can build apart
Mhm.
from what the government says or does not say. And part of being a good leader is being adaptable. So if the government changes tomorrow and they say that you can't run businesses this way or that way due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which in the state of New York is a very real thing. So as leaders, you have to have the ability to not marry what you should date, not marry methods, but date methods. So what just because you haven't been able to do something before, a lot of times we as leaders we marry the way that we've done things and we make things sacred that were never meant to be sacred. So sometimes the government changes things and then we're like, well, the government's limiting my right to free speech or limiting this or limiting that. Well, my challenge to any leader is how do you now pivot and adapt and still thrive even with new rules? And that's really a major theme. It's a major any sustainable organization that has survived for a long period of time. Hey, babe, that's my wife back there.
Oh, hi.
She's trying to adapt. Anything that's sustainable or live for a long period of time can adapt no matter what the rules are. It's those
Mm.
that can't adapt that die. So as soon
Mm.
as you lose your ability to be flexible and work with things, now of course those are things that are technical, right? Like rules and laws. But if they're moral things, that's different. But that could be sometimes a different conversation than how you lead in an organization. They're not always. It's a bit nuanced,
That's
so
right.
it's a,
Thank you
it's
so much.
all
Thank
figured
you.
out by
So,
case.
so what you're saying is that one has to adapt to any new rule at all.
All the time. You always have
Is
to
it
adapt.
any new rule? Is it just any rule? But we are going to talk. We are going to come to that, right? We're going
Sure.
to come to that. Let me go straight to Voke. Voke, are you hearing me? Now, I want to ask you this question very quickly, and I just
Yes, I can hear you.
needed to respond in just 3 minutes. So, for some time now, several young girls have been victims of sexual abuse, right? As a young leader that you are, what's the best approach you would give to other leaders out there as an advice in combating the issue of sexual abuse? I don't, do you understand this question? What's your advice to other leaders out
Yes,
there?
what
Perhaps they're watching you right now. How do they handle sexual or the issue of sexual abuse? Let me give you a very good example.
I think generally as people,
Assuming
okay,
okay,
I'm
let me
listening.
give you a very good example. Assuming I am a leader, I am watching you right now, just as the world is watching right now, right? And then someone comes to me and then tells me about a victim comes to me and tells me about um her issue, how she's been harassed or abused by someone else, right? You know, sometimes people don't handle these matters very well. They are not careful. They don't use wisdom. That instead of using wisdom in handling it, such that the person's image is protected, or the person you know, is able to heal gradually, and then of course the person taking the person through the normal or the due process of securing some legal advice, right? They just blow it up, or they just go the wrong way, and the person continues to live in that you know, live with that memory and does not heal. Assuming I'm a leader, what advice are you going to give to me? How should I handle such matter? If a young girl comes to you now, or you're talking to leaders about the young girl. Yeah.
Okay, so as a leader, if a young girl or guy comes to
Yes.
you and makes a complaint, okay, this happened, I think the first approach should be let that person speak their truth and be thorough about it, because we still have this and stigmatization that comes with talking about sexual assault or sexual harassment. We tell people to shut it, okay, so that you don't ruin the reputation of your family or ruin the reputation of yourself. So I think the first thing should be to let the person feel heard, to actually listen. You're not going to be listening. There's no point making the person come to you in the first place. Your leadership position needs to give that person access to you, and the person able to open thorough. Because for the most part of their healing process, they need to be able to speak and feel like they're not going to be judged. Because a lot of times we still have people who say things like, "Oh, what was she wearing? What's she doing there? Why was she there in the first place? What kind of access did you give to the person that harassed her?" So I think the first step in that kind of situation would be to listen to the person and help that person find the best legal action to take at that point in time, and also help the person.
So listen to the person and then help the person go through some legal, I mean, go through the due process, like legal, obtaining some legal service, right? Okay. I'm sure you heard that.
Yes, the person and without judging, without judgment.
All right. Thank you so much, Voke. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Mr. Sidibe, I'm sure you're here now. Looks like you've been having some technical issues. So
Yes,
I want to throw this
problem.
question to you. Yes, can you hear me? I want to throw this question to you because we have just, you know, very short time to conclude with this event. Okay, Liberia has a strong, Senegal has a strong and long history of civil war. You've been working with young people, most especially while solving social problems, right? You're a social entrepreneur. Part of your duties is to solve social problems, right? Now, so what is the most challenging thing you've discovered as a leader while working with young people who have the scars of these wars on them? How did you solve these problems? Let me give you a very good example. Someone whose family was a victim of such wars, okay, who lost everything, has some. But did you
Before
get
you
the question?
continue, I don't know if you're able to hear me. I am able to hear you very well. So if you just can
You can't
go
hear me?
back to the sentence again. I cannot hear you very well. So if you can just go
Okay.
back
Can you hear me now?
to the sentence again. Are you able to
Can
hear
you
me?
hear
Can
me
you hear
now?
me?
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
It's the connection is.
Okay.
I'm having a problem of
Wow.
connection. I'm not able to
I'm sure.
well.
Can you hear me well now? Are you there? Okay. So I
Yes,
believe
I'm
the
here.
controller is
It's
going to be
detecting
working
my
on that.
so
Let me go straight to Mr. Emeka while you are being taken care of. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for that. And these things happen. It's beyond our control. I mean, this is the cloud. We're using the internet, so you never can tell. Yeah, the connections, we hope that it gets better. So, Mr. Emeka Ossai, this question is going to be going straight to you, and it's very, very important. This is very important, and I believe there are so many people out there waiting to hear this. Right now, the Nigerian film industry is globally recognized as the second largest film producer in the world. Amazing. The industry contributes about 2.3%, which is about, contributes, revenue, right, of about 2.3%, which is about 239 billion naira to Nigeria's gross domestic product, the GDP. What should the government do in return based on this? Because they are contributing a lot, right? What is the government doing, or what should they do in return to these? I mean, Nollywood is making a lot of money for the country. Yeah.
Well, we have always asked the government for various support, both in appropriate legislation to protect the industry, creating a better enabling space for the business to be done. Because sometimes when you actually come down to the level of the producers to see what they go through to achieve what you see and like, sometimes it's like a guerrilla filmmaker. And you know what it means, going against all convention to ensure that you achieve what you're doing. With all that money that's coming into the system through the film industry, the government is just beginning to recognize the importance of film in revenue generation and also, societal molding and mobilization and sensitization, in the space. So what we will be expecting the government to do, or what we have been asking the government to do and they're doing right now, is to ensure that the business is properly protected. And a lot of facilities needed by the practitioners to function effectively must be provided. Now, we've already talked about funding, access to institutional funding.
Yeah, I want to say this very importantly. Do you think that the government should give some sort of do you think that there should be some sort of insurance benefits for the actors? Have you looked into that?
Well,
is that
yes,
a consideration?
but you see, it's not actually the government that ought to be providing that, but the government ought to be sensitizing those who are the service providers to see this angle as a place where they can veritably invest. Nigeria is a very serious business-minded society where entertainment, even with all the monies made, is not still looked at as a serious business. So when different institutions are drafting policies and possible projects to affect businesses, they don't think a lot about the film business. Take, for example, the banks. The way they give the draconian loans to round-trip borrowers is the same way they want to effect the loans to filmmakers. And that's because they mostly do not understand how the film business operates. So you want to obtain funding facilities from a bank, and they're giving you, interest rates that are absurd in every way you want to think about it. And they're not given enough time enough gestation period for that loan to be paid back. So you are treated like every other businessman who is into container importation. They expect that you take the money today, you do your film tomorrow, and the day after, you should be making money and making returns to the system, which of course is not possible. So what we're asking the government to do is to ensure that most of these people are sensitized to understand how the business works, because we have tried our best possible to expose.
So what you're saying is that sensitization is very important. How it works, about their benefits, about what they are.
Understanding how it works. Yes.
Okay.
Understanding how the business works, so that when you're tailoring policies and funding opportunities to the business, you will know how to do that, considering how the business operates.
Wow, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. The government has to understand how the business works, so that when they generate
the issue of piracy.
Yes, that's a major issue.
The issue of age-old piracy,
That's very true. I think we'll get to that, and we'll just talk about it in 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you so much for that. The government has to understand how the business works. The inputs of of course, the filmmakers, the actors, the directors, and every other person involved in the movie industry, in order to know what their needs are, which is pretty important. So we are going to be talking about now, Mr. Jordan is back now. Okay, so I have to say something now, as a leader, right? What has been your greatest challenge, and how did you overcome that challenge? Yeah. What has been your greatest challenge?
I think my greatest challenge has been, there's many of them, so I'm trying to pick the right one, has been probably the ability to communicate what I in a way that is actionable to the people that I'm leading. So I may have an idea in this brain of mine, or I may see an end result that I want to get to. I think what's difficult and what's been a challenge for me that I've worked to overcome is, how do I communicate what's here, because I can't do it by myself, to my team in a way where they're just not doing it for me, but they're doing it in a way where they're just as passionate about what I see, that they see it too, and that they're passionate about the same end result that I'm looking for. So I think that's one of the greatest challenges as a leader that I've experienced, is being able to translate some of those things in a way that isn't just, you're not just motivating them externally, but you're giving them intrinsic revelation that will be sticky enough to motivate them when the times are hard to get to the end goal. Because external motivation only goes so far when times get tough. But intrinsic revelation sticks in a way that upholds the vision when it doesn't look like it's very clear.
That's really powerful. So we should accept the intrinsic revelation. We should, because the external,
you have to help your team come to the revelation of the vision on their own without you just telling them. So it's more than you just saying, "Here's where we're going, let's go." It's you saying, "Do you see where we're going? What do you see at the finish line? What are the things that you desire out of the results of this mission being accomplished?" And when you begin to ask those important questions, or one term that's used is called the Socratic method of teaching, where you ask questions to help people come to their conclusions.
Now, I want to pick you up on that, right? Because I don't think that the Socratic method helps everyone. I know it's good. What do you think about that? You're teaching, you're asking questions, and then sometimes as a lecturer, you expect that, or as a teacher, you expect that the students respond to you or are prepared before coming to the class. Do you think everyone can cope with that? Or if not, what other advice would you give? Because most of the things we do as leaders is to communicate, right? We communicate our thoughts, we communicate our vision, we communicate the mission, we communicate what we want them to do. Now, if they are most times, you know, for example, you are leading in an organization, leading a team of people working in a certain place, for example, right? Sometimes you pull them together and you want to talk to them about something ongoing or something you want to do or you want them to do, right? Sometimes you expect them to have done their research, okay? So because that's what Socratic method is about. You expect your students or your team to have done the research, the background work, you know, and then they don't deliver, they don't do their research, they don't. How do you treat that? You know, what other method would you be able to apply to help your situation or help your organization?
Well, first of all, I don't think the Socratic method requires the students to know yet the answers or to have done research to come to their own conclusions. I think that if you ask the right questions, you can help them come to some answers that are important for them. And I also don't think that the Socratic method is the only way to lead. It's a thing to use in the tool belt of a leader, but it's not the only way to communicate. There are times where you have to be more dictatorial in your direction. And especially in times of crisis, where you don't have time to necessarily discuss and to debate and to mull and ponder over the mission that you're trying to accomplish. However, when you're in normal seasons, it's a good thing to win over the key stakeholders on your team without just the external driving thing, because how you win somebody is how you'll keep somebody. So if you win somebody to the end result that you're looking for through dictation and through teaching, that means that it's going to require that to keep them going. So, but if you win them through the Socratic method, where they come to a conclusion and you help them come into your perspective and help them understand it with a patient approach, and if you win them over to your side and to the vision you're trying to get to, you'll keep them by virtue of their own revelation, which is twice like way less work. And really, what are we all trying to do as leaders in organizations and businesses? It's put in less effort for greater return. And so it's the same thing you want to do with your team. You want a good ROI, return on investment, but you want to put in the least amount of effort to get in the most ROI, so that the amount of effort you put into anything, whether it's new businesses or new vision or whatever, is expanded. Your capacity can be expanded. So the best way to do that, as I was saying earlier, a way to empower your team is to ask the right questions so that they come to those conclusions, and you allow them to mess up, and then help give them a feedback cycle and work with them, because that builds sustainability in your process.
Wow, that's really powerful. That's really powerful. Voke, can you hear me? Hello, Voke.
I can hear you.
Voke, can you hear me? Okay, so this is going to be the last question for everybody. This is going to be the last question for everybody, and we are done for today. I've been having fun, and I know one or two things have been going on right now with the technicals, and you know, but I'm sure that we have learned one or two things today, and this conference has been an amazing one since yesterday. And I'm sure that every one of you watching all around the world, from Liberia, from Senegal, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, you're all learning well. And today is, of course, the grand finale. And, you know, so this is going to be the last question for you. And when the others come back, I will ask them their last questions. All right. So, trapped in anyone is the potential to lead. What is your advice to those that have not discovered their potential? If you don't understand it, let me know. All right. I know some of these questions can be a little bit tricky. Trapped in anyone is the potential to lead, right? What is your advice to those that have not discovered this potential? What's your advice to those that have not discovered this potential on how to maximize and channel their leadership potential towards a productive cause? First of all, you are helping those that have not discovered their potential. Second of all, you are helping them, those that have not but should discover their potential and how to channel their potential in a towards a productive cause. So if you don't understand that, okay, do you understand that? I was going to call the leadership consultant.
your network
Can you hear me?
Poor. No, your network, you are cracking.
Oh,
I can hear you. I can hear you, Stephen.
Okay. Oh, I think
Yes, I can.
He's actually. So let me hear you, Voke. Voke, can you hear me?
Okay, so my to those who haven't discovered, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm listening. Sure, others are listening too. Yeah.
My advice to those who have not discovered their leadership potential is to start from self. I think one of the things we don't talk about enough is self-leadership. We want to lead the big crowd, we want to lead the team of people, but we are not ready to first of all lead ourselves. We are ready to take responsibility of our actions. We're ready to take responsibility of time. We're not ready to take responsibility of our purpose on a personal level. So for leadership on how to lead people, how to stand in front of a crowd, how to have a movement. I think discovering your potential starts taking responsibility of yourself, of your actions, of your assignments, the little thing that has shown to you about yourself. How are you managing your time? How are you managing relationships? How are you managing the tasks that I'm giving to you? How are you submit? Before you will lead, you have to first submit. Elias is always a follower in some capacity. Bless you, sir. So, in discovering your potential,
welcome back, Sidibe.
Leader, it starts from first of all taking responsibility for yourself. Self-leadership.
So, are you trying to say that's how they can discover their potential, taking responsibility? Is that what you're saying in sum total? That it's in taking responsibility that you can. Okay, Mr. Jordan, can you help in this situation now, please?
Sure.
Okay, please go ahead. Voke, yeah, we'll come back to you. Yeah.
Just to understand your question, how do you help people see the leader that live in and how do you develop them? Is that correct?
Discover their potential, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then help them, channel it towards a productive course. Yeah.
Absolutely. So finding the gifts and talents.
And of course, maximize it. Yeah.
Is a talent and a skill that leaders need to have. And part of the way you do that is by empowering them and letting them fail from time to time, and then giving them a constructive feedback cycle. So so it's like, Stephen, hey, I asked you to do this thing, you did it to the best of your ability, and you may have messed up. So one thing that I always tell in any team that I've led or anyone that I consult, I say we fail forward. So when you fail forward, and that you learn from your failures, right? So that's how you help somebody develop their potential, is through failure. Failure is an essential part of growth. It's an essential part of finding out where you miss so you can get better. And that's how we kind of begin to take the journey and start to narrow our focus and find where we're best gifted and hit our stride.
Wow. So it's really important to fail forward, learn from your mistakes, whatever it is you've made as a mistake before, you learn from it, and that's one of the ways you can maximize your potential to lead. And so now, how do you help people to channel it towards productive cause? So for example, someone wants to someone has a vision or a mission to do some certain things, right, for the betterment of other people. How can the person take action, towards actualizing such goals? Yeah, in just 1 minute, please.
Of course, it all depends on what the vision and mission is. So what you do is very dependent upon what that is. But in general, what you want to do when you have a vision or you have an idea is to begin to write it down. Write down the vision and make it.
Start with that, writing it down. Yeah.
And then second step is, once you've kind of processed it a little bit, or maybe you're a verbal processor like me, I sit down with somebody that I trust and I work it out with them and say, hey, here's an idea I have. I don't want you to shoot down anything right now. My goal, I call it blue sky thinking. nothing in the way. If budget wasn't a thing, if all these obstacles were removed, what would my vision look like? And you start from there, and then you work your way backwards. Once you start from the big picture, then you say, okay, now what are the barriers to me getting to that end result? And then you start to work with each one of those barriers. And then as you go, sometimes the end result maybe moves a little bit, which is a good thing, because sometimes you find a more accurate place you want to end up in as you look at the different obstacles in your way. Or sometimes those obstacles just need to figure out a way to be moved.
Thank
So
you.
you start with the big thing, and then you get smaller and smaller into the details,
Thank you.
processing it with other people.
Thank you. So, Voke, you have something to say to that in just 1 minute. Can you continue from where you stopped? Oh, she's off again. Voke, can you hear me? Okay, so let me just add something to that, which is very important. This has helped me many times before. This project, I've had a lot of projects. I've been working with young people for about 11 years. And what I've discovered is that one of the things that works, I'm sure this is applicable by anybody, right? It's applicable by anybody. So if you want to start any project, if you want to do anything at all, and it's in line with your goal or your vision or purpose, right? You first of all have to write it down. Now, ideas fly. Let me even give you an instance. Sometimes you have an idea, you have a vision to do something, and before you know it, someone else you didn't discuss that with already has that idea. Who knows, that idea would have made you perhaps like Mark Zuckerberg $100 billion. Imagine if you had done something about it. So it's very important to take action, but before that, part of the action is writing it down. Now, of course, the Bible says when you write down the vision, the person that reads it runs with it. Now, your vision, your idea that is on paper reminds you to take action. Those ideas keeps you on your feet. Those ideas, makes you active. So writing it down and you reviewing it, all right, occasionally will remind you of your responsibility, will remind you of your action, will remind you of your assignment, will remind you of that thing you need to do. So that's one of the first things you must do, take action. Secondly is, take action by writing it down. Secondly is sharing your vision with the right people. Now, I'm saying this because if you don't share your vision with the right people, piracy, we are going to talk about that very soon. If you don't share your vision with the right people, for example, sharing your vision with someone who will help you kill it before it even actualizes. For example, you're sharing your vision with someone who will instill fear in you before you even start it, or someone who will tell you can't do it, or someone who will tell you someone else has done it. You can't do it. All right. So it's important to write it down first of all, and then share it with the right people who will inspire you to actualize those visions. Very important.
So that's just
Mr.
like a movie script.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't just share your movie script with anybody.
Exactly.
You can't just share your movie script with anybody.
You get the idea
I
of the
just
story,
wanted to add
you write it down,
this
you
quotation.
call people of like minds, you have a script conference, you develop it, and then it becomes the movie that you shoot eventually.
Exactly. And who knows, the person will make millions of naira from it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
I
Let's wait. Hold on, Sidibe. Voke, are you hearing me? Voke. Oh my God. All right, Sidibe, what do you have to say, please, in just 1 minute?
Question, we say that a vision without action is hallucination. A vision without action is just hallucination. Stephen, a while ago you were talking about
powerful
action.
Yeah.
To achieve that vision, but also you have to protect that vision. And how to protect that vision is not to share it with negative-minded people. Because negative-minded people, we always tell you, "Oh no, it's impossible. This is not possible." So, there's the negative. As they say, zone negative in French. So that will push you not to, take action. But you always have to share with the people that will always, be here to motivate you, give you much more ideas in order to achieve, that vision.
Imagine, I want to give you an example. Imagine, okay, when I use Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, I'm thinking of two people. Okay, let's not even go there. I was going to say, imagine Mark Zuckerberg sharing the idea of Facebook with Bill Gates, right? Imagine where Mark Zuckerberg would be today if as Bill Gates had, taken over that idea. Are you getting my point? So you have to be very careful. There are some people who are looking to buy ideas from you. As a leader, you must be very conscious of that. They are buyers of ideas. Now, they won't tell you they want to buy your idea, but just mentioning it and they see it's good. People sell ideas. People sell scripts. As an actor, you know that, right? People sell scripts. People sell ideas. People, they are called idea marketers. They come up with this idea, and then they expect that you buy it from them, or in a way pay you for that idea, okay? And then because of course they need it, because they've seen that it's very good and it will make them the fortune they want, or give them whatever they want. So one has to be very careful as a leader. One of the things you must be very careful about is who you communicate your thoughts with. Communicating your thoughts with, very important. Now let's not dwell so much on that. Mr. Emeka Ossai, sir, please, can you tell us about piracy? This thing is everywhere. I'm a lawyer. I can tell you now how serious that is. That's why copyright laws are very important to be, to have it on whatever it is you want to do, because if you're not careful, you can't do anything about it. You can't take any legal action against the person, most especially in the movie industry. What do you have to say about that, sir?
Well, if I were to use my experience in Nigeria, even though we have requisite laws to deal with piracy, the laws are not deterrent enough. It's actually a far cry from what is expected to discourage any pirates from continuing with piracy. In a case where you are pirating a product that gives you millions of naira, and peradventure you are caught, the price you would have to pay is probably just a few thousands of naira. What will happen is that you just continue to pirate, and then whenever you are caught, you pay and you move on. So we don't have enough deterrent laws, and even the ones that we have, we do not have specialized agencies, security agencies, to actually implement those laws to the letter. Even as much as it's not deterrent enough, we do not have the requisite composition of proper security agencies to pursue the implementation of those laws. So they're just there. What we're working on at the moment is trying to get those laws reviewed to the point where it is deterrent enough to stop people from engaging in such.
So it should be very stringent. Yes.
Pirate, just like
yes.
There's nowhere in the world where, much more stringent and be a proper deterrent to continued, committing of that crime of piracy. So that's the biggest problem we have right now. Even though technology is beginning to help to mitigate all that, it's not adequate.
Thank you very much, sir. So this is going to be the last question for you, Mr. Jordan. But before then, Voke, can you hear me? Voke, can you hear me? Wow, this is a good day. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to say something about the question I asked you about taking responsibilities, that in the process you are able to discover your potential, your leadership potential. Is that what you were trying to say? And can you put more light to that? All right.
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Jordan, Mrs. Sidibe. So everyone has like
Okay,
1 or 2
if
minutes,
you,
and I mean
like
I'm
you
very
said,
strict.
everybody
I have
has
my
the
timer
potential.
here.
Everybody has.
Okay. All right. Mark Zuckerberg has to pay for the. Is it Mark Zuckerberg's fault? No, he's not even the one in charge of StreamYard. So it's just a wonderful connection. Okay, so Sidibe,
No.
we are going to be ending soon. So Sidibe, are you there? This is going to be the last question before I go to Mr.
Yes,
Jordan and before I go to Mr. Emeka. Okay, Voke, I'm sorry about the connection.
Okay.
I believe that next year when we have the next Eagles Leadership Conference, it will be better. Okay, so let me ask Mr. Sidibe this last question. Nearly half of the Senegalese are living in abject poverty. Senegal is one of them, right? Hello? Are you hearing me, Sidibe?
Yeah, can you get back again? It's
okay, let me go back now. Nearly half of
the
Senegalese. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, listen. All right. Nearly half of the Senegalese are living in abject poverty. Okay. And leaders, most especially young leaders, are not out of this, right? They are also victims of it, or they are also, like, unfortunately experiencing that too. Okay. What is the best approach you would take or would advise others to take in combating poverty in your country? Since you are a social entrepreneur.
So as I
yeah.
say, like,
okay.
Okay, I understand your question. You say like mostly half of the Senegalese are living in poverty, and how?
Exactly.
What is the solution? To
exactly. How can you solve that problem? Because most especially those that have the potential to lead, those that are leaders in your, whether locally or internationally, but unfortunately, are experiencing poverty. What do you have to say? Just 1 minute, please.
Okay, I would say it's not only most countries in Africa, and the solution is to boost the young entrepreneurs. The entrepreneur is the solution. Just see Africa, map in Africa, and you combine the continent of Africa, and you combine all of the other 4 continents together. The continent of Africa is bigger than all of those continents. So that's half land, and agriculture also is solution. And we have to the government, not only the government, even organization, they have to have this financial system that will be able to help those entrepreneurs, to be able to start up their business and then grow and then scale in the business, because only entrepreneurship is a solution. I myself, I'm an entrepreneur in Senegal. I'm running my company, but also there are other Senegalese that have solutions, but don't have like the support system to be able to.
Thank you. So what you're saying is that for those who have ideas but are in poverty, okay, what you're saying is that for those that have ideas but are unfortunately in abject poverty, or for those who are leaders that are potential leaders but are unfortunately experiencing poverty, you are calling on the government, right, to support them. You're calling on the financial institutions to give them funds to help them in breeding those ideas, right? So that they can grow wealth. Are you hearing me? Okay, so I believe that's what you're trying to say. Mr. Emeka Ossai, this is the last question for you, sir. What would you have to say to those that are upcoming leaders in the industry, directors, producers, lead actors, Oh no, lead actors are already here. But I mean, the upcoming directors, producers, how can they start up? How can they start? What, considering that the challenges that they can, that they may, encounter along the way, how can they cope? How can they manage that? I know I've had some conversations with you before, and you told me how you started.
Yeah.
You already knew where you were going, but you needed to start on a good note. You said you needed to have your own equipment. You didn't want to borrow, right? So it means that you had to put some level of investments into that idea to launch the idea. Now, not everybody may have that kind of idea. Some may want to take loans, some may want to borrow, some may want to depend on other people for support. What exactly would you have to say to those who are, who want to start up the, movie business, but don't have the wherewithal or don't have the capacity or financial capacity to start it? I'm sure several other people out there are watching me right now. Those who want to be producers, those who want to be directors, how can they do that?
Okay, well, if you want to go into the business as a practitioner, the first thing is to get requisite. Yes, as a practitioner, because there are two ways you can get into the business of filmmaking, either as an investor or as a practitioner. If you were an investor, you are only going to be looking for people with the requisite experience and expertise to implement your purpose, which is making a film and making money off film. But if you want to get into the business as a practitioner, you must get requisite training. Either educational through higher institutions or the appropriate institutions that trains you on the job, or you are going to be working in the system as an apprentice over time. But the first thing that you must do is get requisite training. That is, because I do not expect anyone to go into any business that he or she does not understand. So you must get requisite training. Like in my own case, I started as an actor, okay? And before then, I was a model. I rose to become Nigeria's
That's what you said, model. Yeah.
From then, from then I got into acting. So along the line, so mine will be like apprenticeship, because that was not even my line. I'm by training a food technologist. But by apprenticeship, going through the system over the years, I began to learn and perfect my art, and then began to learn also the business part of it. And I had said to myself from day one that I was going to be a producer. Even though people know me mostly today as an actor, but I am mostly active as a producer who make my own content under my own company.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yes, so from day one, I knew where I was going. And I started to learn step by step as I went. And when I was able to muster enough resources from acting to acquire my own equipment, I did so. And again, in making motion picture, I said to myself that even though I could make films, I had made films, I wanted more of television entertainment, TV series and TV drama series. Okay.
Thank you very much. And thank you. So, So what you're saying is that it is very important to know where you're going, know what you want, right?
Know where you're going.
Know where you're going. Training. Know what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is going to guide you. Someone without a vision is like the plane taking off the airport without having any direction, without having any compass, without having any form of guidance. The person is going to crash, right? So, and it's important to learn from those that have been in the game, because it is only the person that has been, that knows. So there is this Chinese proverb that says, a person who asks a question can only be a fool for 5 minutes. But the person that doesn't ask at all is a fool forever.
Exactly. Because every answer you get gets into your storage of experience.
Exactly. So ask those that have been in the game, learn, and then that way you will know how the business or the game is played in order to succeed. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So that's the last question for you. And Mr. Jordan, what's your take on emerging leadership in just 1 minute? Just tell us what what your advice would be to those who want to lead, or those that are, whether they are political leaders or they are leading in organizations, or I mean they just got the appointment to lead or by election to lead in one word or the other. What advice? It could be just one word, because we have just 1 minute. What is your advice to such people? What is the first thing they should do? Yeah.
Leadership is servanthood. It is not about you being the authoritarian in the process. You are serving the people you lead, no matter what you're leading, whether it's a project, whether it's anything. And if you're going to get things done in a way that's sustainable, long-lasting, and impactful, as a leader, you need to serve the people you're leading with, and the people that you're leading, to get those things done. Because if you do it right, and if you serve those people and you love those people, then the project and the legacy of what you're trying to accomplish will live far, far beyond you.
That's
Leadership
right.
is servanthood.
It's servanthood. I got that. Leadership is servanthood. I told you from my book yesterday, Success Pills, which is Success Pills, which you can get from okadabooks.com, okada.com. Just type Success Pills and you can get it there, the soft copy. Now, I told you yesterday that leadership is service. If you want to be a leader, or you are a leader, and you don't know how to serve, you will crash. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, right? And then I want to read from my book something that I'm going to leave with you today, okay, from Success Pills. Now, because leadership is actually about legacies, right? Someone would always say that if you meet people and you leave them and they are still the same way you met them, then you are not a leader. So whoever you meet, wherever you go, wherever you find yourself, you have to leave some footprints. You have to change something there so you can be remembered for the change you brought in that place. Very important. So now this is what it says. Leaving legacies is beyond the good you do. It's reproducing your kind. So while you have been in that organization, you've been in that where you are, you've met that person, or you've been working in some kind of circle, like with people, right? Have you, before you leave there, or while you stay there, are you able to reproduce, or are you able to birth, or are you able to make people be like you? That's what leadership is about. Remember Jesus, they called the disciples, they called them Christians because they were like him. So he spent most of his life making disciples, making people who would look like him. And that's what leadership is about. Who is going to take after you? Who's going to be like you? Who's going to speak like you? Who's going to have the same ideology you have? Who's going to be able to solve problems the way you do? Because that's what leadership is about. You must be able to sell your vision to other people. Other people must be able to buy your vision. And the vision must be channeled towards solving a problem, because leadership is solving problems. So whether you are a movie actor, you are a producer, you are a business person, you own your organization, you are a pastor, whatever it is you do, it's all, centered around solving problems. I'm going to say this and then I'll end here and then, respond to them because we're spending so much time. Now, I'm going to use Jesus again as an example, right? Jesus met both spiritual, emotional, and physical needs of people. So as a leader, you must be ready to meet both emotional, physical, and spiritual needs of other people. Now, it doesn't matter who is going to stand with you, because a lot of times you will find people who will not stand with you. Several times they said Jesus Christ was deserted, meaning as influential as he was, as popular as he was, as creative as he was, he had a time people, his disciples were not with him. So you're going to have a lot of times like that where the people you trust, the people that you so much believe in, will not even stand with you. There will be a time they will not believe in your vision anymore. But you have to keep moving forward as a leader. This is very important. Very, very important. So, Sidibe, in just few seconds, what's your last word to upcoming social entrepreneurs or societal problem solvers? What's your take? What's your advice to them in just few seconds?
So much for inviting.
Few seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a great honor to share. This stage with Mr. Emeka, Voke, and you, and Africa. We have a lot to do. Let's just unite. Let's just exchange our reflection, because it's the peace of each one of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Voke, are you hearing me? You should hear me now that we're about to end.
Yes, I can.
Voke, are you hearing me? So what's your advice to those who are like you, whose passion is to help young people, teenagers? What's your advice to them?
I would say don't hold yourself back, because we don't have a lot of these in our society as it is, and we can never have too many people who are fighting the problem. If you feel the need, you feel the burden, that is your responsibility. Take it up, run with it. If God has put inside of you, if God has put that burden inside of you, He has given you the resources to make it happen. So don't stop, just go with it all the way.
Okay. I hope I got that. Wow. So we've had a wonderful time. But before we go, I just want to say one or two things to everyone. First of all, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for being a part of this conference since yesterday. I am totally sorry with the network issues and service issues. Of course, we're in different countries. This is not to downgrade any country, but then I believe that next time is going to be better. And I totally apologize for the break in transmission and it going off and on. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. The other speaker, Mr. Charles Okafor, I'm sure a lot of you were also waiting to hear him, to listen to him. But, he was not able to come here because of some of these difficulties too. I am so sorry about that. I believe next time is going to get better. Perhaps we'll be using 5G. I don't want to bring up issues now. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce to you, the launch of the Eagles Leadership Conference, Ghana. Now, this is going to be taking place next year. As a matter of fact, right now we're going to be starting arrangements and we're going to be planning in order to accomplish that vision to host the Eagles Leadership Conference next year, 2021, in Ghana. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you would want to support this cause. They want to support me in one way or the other, through PayPal, through Zelle, through any means at all. If you want to do that, if you want to reach out to me, please do that. We are open. If you're talking about PayPal, of course, we have our email addresses, StephenOgbolu@gmail.com. Gonna go with that again. Come again with that. StephenOgbolu@gmail.com. Now that's my PayPal account. And in other way you want to support, you want to be a part of that, you want to sponsor some resources, some promotional resources or promotional materials, or you want, you have one connection or the other that can help us to facilitate this next year. We believe, and as a matter of fact, we believe that we're going to be having a lot of people who will be a part of this conference next year in Ghana. And like I told you earlier, we're going to start up a movement right now, So again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Mr. Emeka Ossai. Thank you so much, Mr. Sidibe. Mr. Emeka, first of all, I want to appreciate you for your time here. I know you have a lot of people who are viewing because of you, as well as other speakers who were able to attract other people from all around the world, to view because you are going to be speaking here. And I learned a lot from you. One of the things I learned from you, I believe people can review it or view it again later, is that one has to know what he wants. One has to have a direction of where he's going. And that is very powerful, because without direction, you will have confusion. And with confusion, you will meet the wrong people. And if you meet the wrong people, you will ultimately fail. And nobody wants to fail. Thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much. And Mr. Sidibe, all the way from Senegal, thank you so much. I'm sure that a lot of Senegalese have tuned in because of you. And I'm totally grateful for your time. I'm totally grateful for, giving your time here to impact young people like you, to inspire young people all around the world too. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Voke, for your time. I am so sorry for all of the network issues. This was not planned for. I'm sure that somehow people will be able to understand what you're saying. And I know you impacted us, and we were deeply inspired by your story. We're deeply inspired by how much of the people you've helped to get some business and financial intelligence, which is what every young person needs, right? Instead of spending money on data or recharge card, these things are important, but for a young person, he has to be productive enough. Just like Mark Zuckerberg, who started off at the age of 24. At that young age, that's a prime age. That is the age one has to discover his potential in order to be productive with it, and in order to live a fulfilled life. It's not all about money, right? It's about fulfillment. And being a young person, you are privileged to be able to discover your talents. Thank you so much, Voke. And thank you so much, Mr. John Carter. I know you had to attend to one or two businesses. Thank you so much for coming here. You live with me here in Syracuse, and I know that you've been touching lives. I know that you've been reaching out to a lot of people, and I am a beneficiary of that. Thank you so much for your words today, and what it is to be a leader, what it is to help people, find direction for, gain direction for their vision. Thank you. So those words were really powerful. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank the guy behind the scene, Mr. Femi Rahul. He's been working so hard to making sure that this event is a success. Thank you so much, Mr. Femi. Thank you so much, Stacy, my assistant. You've been working so hard too to making sure that everybody also connects and is comfortable and they get information on time. You've been so hardworking, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much. To every one of you out there who tuned in, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of this process. I know you were inspired. I know it, because I know you are going to go back to this video to view everything again, and of course share with your family members, your friends, your contacts, and on all of your social media accounts. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am blessed to have you. Without you, it wouldn't have been this successful. Thank you. Thank you. So at this point, we are going to be closing, and the Eagles Leadership Conference USA 2020. But before I close, it's important that I'm grateful to God for this opportunity and to serve you and to inspire you. God made it possible. And I can't leave, I can't close this without appreciating him for his mercies, his faithfulness, for his successful conference. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching from Senegal, if you're watching from United Kingdom, you're watching from Canada, you're watching from United States, you're watching from Brazil, because I have some friends there. If you're watching from India, if you're watching from anywhere around the world, China, I have some people from South Korea too watching. Thank you so much. God bless you, and keep being inspired, most especially self-inspiration. Have a good day or good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.